Good evening, SRA Nation, and welcome to Season 12.
Today is going to be a new challenge, aside from being sent for. We're racing on the surface of the sun, apparently.
They're heading down towards the main start line.
Maximizing that track just behind. That's exactly what we were talking about. That one corner. So critical to your lap time. You have to send it. This is the apex curving there by a little bit.
Everybody's now bunched up, and you do not want that.
Rewind now at the end of Sector 1 in the spot you really don't want to, but the fight's not over.
Still there on the inside, and the McLaren's still not going to give the place up.
And we're off and away for SRA.
Hello everybody and welcome to the SRA GT3 Team Series Division 5 Round 3 Season 13. Ready to get started here at Misano, and joining me in the booth here is Matt Anderson. Unfortunately Henry is going to be unable to join us. Matt, how's it going?
It's going great. Ready to be back to racing after our long holiday break.
Yeah, no kidding. It feels like it's been forever, but it's only been just a couple of weeks. We are going to bounce over to the track map here. And Matt, you want to go ahead and talk us through our race today at Misano?
Absolutely. The Misano World Circuit Marco Simoncelli presents a unique set of challenges for GT racing teams. Its flowing layout with a mix of fast and technical corners demands precision, car balance, and driver skill. The key corners for the GT cars start off with Del Parco. This variant adds a challenging element for the first sector, demanding precise steering and throttle control as GT cars navigate its fast and flowing layout. Next up is Del Rio, a fast, sweeping right-hander that demands a delicate balance of steering and throttle application once again to maintain stability and momentum going into the short straight there. This leads us to Curva della Corsia. I hope I pronounced that right. This hairpin requires a delicate balance of braking, downshifting, and precision steering for the GT cars. The exit is crucial for maintaining momentum into the next short straight, which takes us into Curva del Tramonto. This long, fast right-hander puts significant stress on the tires and suspension of the GT cars. Finding the optimal racing line and maintaining car stability through this corner is paramount to maintain as much speed as possible through the next straight, which takes us into the high-speed corner of Curvone, which is a high-speed right-hander where the aerodynamic balance and downforce levels really push these GT cars. Maintaining the stability at the high speed while keeping up your speed is crucial to achieving fast lap times here. After that, we're coming into Del Caro, a fast sweeping right-hander, and then another right-hander, and then finally into Curva Misano, which is a sweeping left-hander, rewarding smooth steering and precise throttle control. The braking zones just here are really crucial to get exactly right. And the overtaking opportunities will mainly be at Curva della Corsia with a couple other options if you can overtake a car that didn't get a good exit. And that's mostly what I have to say there, Robert, about the track.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were done there or not.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
No, this is a really, really tight technical track. I think you've summed it up really well here. I know from my experience, the demand this has on you to drive carefully, to watch out for those track limits. This will be really interesting to see. I'm wondering how long it's going to take before we start seeing people rack up those penalties as they cut those corners a little bit too aggressively.
No, I think you've got that right. That's been the talk in chat too. The track limits here can be particularly brutal and sometimes seem quite unfair. And and you have to push this course and risk reward with so many courses, right? I mean, that's nothing new, but it feels like here more than some others, it's less forgiving with mistakes.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and get into the driver standings here and see where we're going to be starting out here at Misano in round 3. All right, so currently leading Division 5 going into round 3, we've got Mike Heisner with 102 points. Following behind is Simon Barnes with 92 points. Tied up with Austin Townsend also with 92 points. Coming in 4th here, we've got Shane Transu, 85 points, and also tied with Tyler, his teammate there, also with 85 points. 6th here is going to be Thomas Reg, one of the two, with 80 points, tied up with JP May, also with 80 points. And 8th here is going to be Thomas Ma, 76 points. 9th here is going to be Sergio Lindo with 76 points also. And it sounds like they may be going up on track for qualifying here.
Yes, it looks like the silver drivers are out right now, and the track is already at optimum. So we might be able to get some really fast times out of this group, especially with 2 weeks off. Everybody had time to practice.
Absolutely. So we'll round this out with the 10th place here in the championship. Then we're going to go live and see people getting some laps in here. And so 10th place here for the GT3 Division 5 is going to be Ryan Van Epps with 72 points. Now let's see what we got going on out there here.
Yeah, as you're moving out on track and looking at that top 10 after only 2 weeks, so I mean we only have one drop race, right? Mike, I think, won the last 2. Mike Heisner, looking at his points, and I mean I think he was expected to be awful strong in D5 anyways. You think he's going to get moved up?
You know, I think there's a good chance here. I know going into round 3 and coming out of it especially, this is when we're going to really see the drivers settling into where they're going to fall for the rest of the season.
I'm just saying, if you win back-to-back races for the first 2, you know, you're in strong contention to be moved up to the next division after week 3. But you never know. I definitely do not have my finger on the pulse of how that works, just from casual observation, of course. But I can see from the top 10 here, we've got, you know, mostly gold drivers, where in some of the other divisions, actually some strong silver drivers up there towards the top in the mix, especially the higher you go. So that's pretty good. As I'm looking at the rest, you know, a lot of silver drivers kind of right behind that. Maybe, as you said, just waiting to get their rhythm for the season.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like we've got Stopa across the line for his first lap here with 1:35.2. And as these others are coming across, it looks like Stopa's going to hold this lead for this first lap. We'll see how this goes.
Indeed, I can. Let's see here. They got 6 minutes left to go. Pellerin is up a half second, and car 164. So he's making up some time. You got some others, Baham and Lung, who are also up on their times. So,
looks like
I mean,
looking at
yes,
a little over half a second now as well for coming around for a second time.
That's a good-looking livery, isn't it?
You know, it really
I like
is.
that. Yeah.
Really like the look they've got going on. Though I'm still partial to those Coca-Cola McLarens out there. I'm looking forward to seeing those out there again.
I think it just caught the colors, the red, white, and black. I've always been, partial to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks really good.
for sure here. Let's see. Looks like 𝐂𝐫𝐫 is about half a second up, but 𝐉𝐵𝐺 here is also looking to improve his time pretty well as well here. The number 428 car.
𝐷𝐸's up almost a second. Just put it down. Let's see here. Where's he at now?
Looks like 𝐷𝐸 is at 139.5. 𝐲𝐵𝐺 still holding that pole position currently, which is pretty good. And he improved his time too. I'm actually just looking at that now, and he dropped another 10th off his time.
Yeah, he must have had a mistake right now because he's down 1.5 seconds and falling, but he's still holding on to that top spot currently. Naples is up 0.3, though. That could put him, he could take it over.
Yeah, if he can continue to improve his lap, he could be looking at pole. Either way, at this rate, he seems to be holding second pretty solidly.
Oh, going wide in front of him. Looks like he lost some time out of those the last couple corners there.
And looking down the field here, we've got some other drivers that are looking to pick up about a half-second improvement on their time. We've got the number 96, Aston Martin for 𝐉𝐵𝐺. He is about a half-second up. As well as, we've got some people turning in some laps here. So Naples is still holding on to second. 𝐉𝐵𝐺 here is looking to improve close to half a second. Let's follow him through and let's see. I think he's going to get it home with about 0.3, which should get him into second place for 𝐉𝐵𝐺. But still, nobody's looking like they're really close to overthrowing 𝐲𝐵𝐺's pole position here for the Silvers.
Yeah, and 𝐲𝐵𝐺 had gone into the pit real quick to make some adjustments and is now back out on track. He's only got a couple minutes, so one lap to get some heat into the tires, and then a perfect flyer if he can.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
What he manages. I'm sure he's looking to do whatever he can to hold as high of a position as possible, because once the gold drivers go out, you know, that pole position is going to be in jeopardy.
In jeopardy, yeah. That is for sure. Yeah, it looks like time's on the board. Most of the drivers have settled into their fast laps at this point, which is to be expected with only a couple minutes left to go in qualifying for the D5 silver drivers.
Yeah, I'm not sure we're going to see a whole lot more shuffling around here. Maybe see a position or two shift, but yeah, just looking up here, it doesn't look like anybody. A little bit of a slide off of fair. He was on a improved lap too. Doesn't look like anybody's really going to be able to pick up enough time to change their position a whole lot, which means that 𝐲𝐵𝐺's pretty comfortably going to hold that pole position for silver. But I think
and looking at that, yeah, looking at that for 𝐲𝐵𝐺 for the silvers, 135.1, 𝐉𝐵𝐺 at a 135.3, 𝐂𝐫𝐫 at a 135.4. Then it drops off Naples for a, well, let's see here, what, 136.6? No, that was his last lap. So, but those times there were all within a half second in the first, say, 5-6 positions. So even with the once the gold drivers are done, those top silver drivers should be up in the mix. Some of them staying in the top 10, and the others just outside of it, I would guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually just amazed at how close some of these drivers are. I mean, and this has been the story of, I think all of our divisions so far this season have had some very, very close drivers. So I think, I haven't been around for previous seasons, but everything I'm hearing is that this season is working out to be a very tight race across every division.
Yeah, and it definitely gets tighter at the top. I wish I knew what their secret was. I'm not having a great season, but I think maybe just more practice time it does the trick, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think what might be helping with the season, as it tends to, is when you've got the situation where you've got the Endurance Series running now for the first time, and the tracks that the Endurance Championship is hitting are mostly shared with the GT3 Team Series schedule. You're getting a situation where you're very well practiced from one event going into the next one. So number one, we're coming off of a 2-week break, which means people have had plenty of time to practice and get ready for Misano. But also, just before the break, we had Misano as the race for the GT3, the Endurance Championship. So this track is going to be fresh on people's minds. They're going to have practiced it a lot, and for those that are running the Endurance Championship, they will have run it for that as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. And for those drivers watching this that have never done an endurance, I highly suggest it. I know, some of them can be longer. You get with a team, it is so much fun. I just want to put in that plug there for the Enduro series. But beyond the practice, I think where we're going to see it, since we've had 2 weeks off here, a hot lap, a fast lap is somewhere, something that you got to have, right? But with the temperatures at 32 Celsius and the track at 40 Celsius and being as warm as it is, I think the difference is going to be the drivers who have practiced extended, runs at that temperature and know how to manage their tires and the car properly.
Absolutely. And again, you only get one pit stop for this, so being able to maximize your use of your tires and time that with your one pit stop. In fact, that pit stop is mandatory. So to be able to kind of be comfortable with how the car feels, have an idea of the optimal time to go and make that pit for those fresh tires. I think that's something you really get from taking those long practice stints where you just stay out and you turn laps. Good or bad, doesn't matter. You just keep turning laps and just get used to how the car feels and as it develops over the course of a full stint.
Exactly. Managing the car with low fuel and fresh tires and a 10-minute stint over and over and over. It's great to be able to know what the maximum is you can get out of the car, but being able to control it when the tires fall off, and is probably I'd say even more important.
Absolutely. All right, so we're following along here with Van Epps, who is currently going to be our first across the line for the Gold drivers.
All right. Yeah, it's a pretty slick livery that he's got there too. Some of the people in SRA are just so talented with the liveries. I spent hours on mine and I thought I was doing good, and then I watched the reveal and went, I still have a lot to learn.
Some of these liveries are truly impressive, and Van Epps is across the line with a 1:36.1. Coming in ahead of him is Townsend with a 1:35.7, and I am not going to try to pronounce that. The number 808 car. I'm sorry,
Pachagini. That's what it looks like to me.
That's what it looks like to me too. I'm going to say the number 808 Nissan. They turned in a 1:36. But as we were saying, the livery makers that I've seen in SRA are so just immensely talented, and have come up with some really good stuff. I mean, my GT3 Team Series teammate came up with a fantastic livery, and I'm just blown away by the job he did. So, and there's so many of them that'll take commissions and everything. So there's no shortage of good-looking liveries out there.
For instance, and Foz does such a good job.
Absolutely.
Okay, who do we got? Ma is making some improvement. Martin is a second up.
see how they do here. The old 296.
Right. Oh, that looked like a favorable kind of bump from the curb, helping him rotate there.
Yeah.
Out wide, through, hold on to third gear, hit that brake point, turn in. Misano can be such a fun track.
Absolutely. And he manages to improve his time by a full second. Stopa,
Yes,
though,
indeed.
still holding on to the pole. An
I
impressive
know.
151 or 135.1.
I gotta say, I am surprised that here we are halfway through qualifying for gold drivers, and the top 4 are currently still from the silver group. So,
That is
wow.
something to see. I tell you what, I'm really interested to see how this is all going to shake out after this round is concluded.
Yeah, I mean, we're still so early in the season, right? We've got reclassifications, not just from division to division, but from gold to silver that can happen here after week 3. Some that I think have already happened at the end of week 2. But so it's not much to say between the silvers and golds at this point.
That being said, though, 𝐓𝐿𝐺𝐻𝐺 is about to turn in a very fast lap and take pole with a 134.6.
Whoa, buddy.
That's quite the improvement over Stopa's time here. And he's not going to be the only... Well, he was about to not be the only one here, but it looks like Transu just had a mistake here. And Townsend also comes in with an excellent 135 flat, basically.
Hey, look, I was in the Aston Martin last season, and I had a lot of fun in it. It is a strong car, if driven well, which I admittedly did not, but I had fun in it. And then moved over to the Porsche this season, which is quite a bit more challenging. I mean, it's fun, but the AMR just feels more stable.
Yeah, I think the AMR in general is I want to say it's fairly slept on, in my opinion. You see it, but you don't see it kind of being considered one of the top tier meta cars like the McLaren or the Porsche or the Ferrari. Well, I don't know if the Porsche would be really considered meta. All things considered.
Yeah, just outside.
It's probably just a little bit too difficult to drive. But your Ferrari, your McLaren, and just trying to think of there's another one, and I can't think of it right now. But either way, the AMR is still competitive. It's not quite fallen down onto the levels of like your Ryder and your M6 and some of the other older cars, but the AMR as well as the Bentley, they still hold their own out there.
They certainly do. My first season with SRA did it in the BMW. Still love the BMW, you know. The Chungas. It might be kind of boring to drive, but just the confidence inspiring, you know, because it's so stable.
Yeah, for sure.
Eisner he's got 0.7 up at this point. I'm honestly kind of surprised to see him only down at 23, being that he won the last 2 races. Did he decide to just enjoy the festivities of the holidays? Not practice? There he is, up to 12th now.
Yeah. Also, apologies for the audio issues. I've only just now realized, I don't think you heard it, but the stream would have been hearing that I had the entirely wrong microphone selected in OBS here. So I should be sounding a lot better on the stream here. Just a little technical issue. All right, so let's look back up the field here. 𝐓𝐿𝐺𝐻𝐺 still holding that pole position solid with Van Epson second and Townsend in third.
Yeah, 𝐓𝐿𝐺𝐻𝐺's got it by, 0.3 at this point. That's pretty strong from first to second. With 19 seconds left, Where is Van Epps?
Van Epps, if he turns this lap in and he doesn't give up much more time, Van Epps may be taking pole from 𝐕𝐻𝐺𝐻𝐿 here. It's all going to depend on how he comes out of this last corner.
Yep.
And he comes out pretty strong. I think he might just take it.
Not enough to. I don't think he's gonna.
Oh, he gets it.
He
gets it with
did.
a 134.607, just by the skin of his teeth.
Wow. Heck of a final effort there.
Really outstanding coming across the line just at the last second to pull that time together.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like we've got our last cars finishing their laps here. Barnes is up by 0.3, which might be enough to put him into 11th place. Let's see how he does.
You know, I'm looking at this. By 5 thousandths, Van Epps took pole.
That is wild.
That's a tight margin.
Outstanding.
Yeah, gotta be pleased.
All right, and looks like Barnes is gonna fall. He's kind of fallen into the same pace that they've had, as well as Lindo here, looking only to pick up a 10th or so, which would be enough to. Oh, they've made a mistake here, and they've pulled off.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we've got a couple of minutes here before the race start. We're going to take a moment here to take it to the sponsors as we get ready for the race. Just a few minutes.
A huge thank you to our SRA sponsors and title sponsors for supporting us here at SRA, as well as support from 𝐓𝐻𝐫𝐢𝐵, a modern business solution for product management. Go to 𝐓𝐻𝐫𝐢𝐵.com to learn more today. And support from 𝐕𝐻𝐵𝐺𝐻𝐵, a North American-based gaming company that provides accessories for your favourite classic systems, including Nintendo, Sega, PlayStation, and much more. Enhance your retro gaming experience today at 𝐕𝐻𝐵𝐺𝐻𝐵.ca. And a big thank you to our affiliates, Track Racer. Experience redefined gaming with Track Racer's high-quality sim rigs and accessories. Use code SRATE at checkout to support us. Armamentario, a toolbox for ACC that will enhance your chance to win. Enjoy a fully customizable and enhanced HUD to change the way you experience ACC. AT3D Sim Shop. Upgrade your sim racing experience today with premium 3D printed accessories featuring precision crafted magnetic shifters, sleek cable management solutions, versatile stream deck mounts, and immersive dashboard displays. Their innovative designs enhance performance and style, elevate every lap with top-tier quality and craftsmanship at at3d.net. Go Setups, premium esports setups for everybody. Use our affiliate link on our Discord and take your drive to the next level. Castle and Cauldron, a home-based crafting business specializing in handmade Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts, and Fairy World collectibles. Magic wands, potions, mini dioramas, wall decor, costumery, cosplay, and much more. Castle and Cauldron is where crafting meets the magical. Visit facebook.com/Castle Cauldron. And from KP Concepts, your source for custom automotive renderings, graphic design, and printing. We spend countless hours making you look all good for the spectacle. Check out kpconcepts.com for more.
All right, so we're going to be rolling off the line here for the formation lap here, and here we go. All right, so I'm going to take us down our starting lineup here for round 3, Division 5, Misano. Coming in pole, we're going to have Ryan Van Epps. And I'm not going to do the first names anymore because I don't know everybody's first name. Coming in here in second, we're going to have 𝐕𝐻𝐺𝐻𝐿 in the number 13 Aston Martin. In third, we're going to have Townsend in the number 210 Porsche. Coming in fourth, we're going to have Stopa and the number 703 McLaren. Fifth place, we've got Trenzu and the 216 Ferrari 296. Coming in sixth, we've got Kovac and the 185 Ford Mustang. Seventh place, we've got Naples and the 904 BMW. And coming in eighth, we've got the number 808 Nissan of Pacciaghini. I'll have to message them and ask them to give me the correct pronunciation there.
Yeah, it could be Pacciaghini. We're slaughtering your name, but we apologize.
We have the best intents here. Yes. Anyway, coming in ninth here, we've got Memory in the number 428 McLaren. And coming in 10th, we've got Koval and the number 966 Porsche. And 11th, we've got Lorenzo. Looks like maybe his teammate in the 162 Porsche. They have similar looking liveries anyway.
Mm-hmm.
In 12th place, we've got Barnes in the 606 Ferrari. And 13th place, we've got Heisner in the 229 Porsche. 14th place, we've got Pinkiewicz with the 205 McLaren. 15th place, we've got May with the 200 Mustang. 16th place, we've got Lindo in the 968 McLaren. And in 17th place, we've got Rodericks in the 133 Ferrari 296. 18th position, we have Gilchrist in the 886 McLaren. And 19th, we've got Pellerin in the 164 AMR. And coming in 20th, we've got Martin in the 716 Ferrari 296. And I am running out of time to do the rest of the grid walk.
You did pretty good. We could have run through faster, but hey, we got the top 20. You did okay. As we come into the last corner here, about to start 1 hour of racing at Misano.
Matt, I'll let you take this away.
You bet. Okay, coming down the line. Everybody lining up. Let's hope for a clean race. There we will. Off and away at SRA, as they say. Oh, we've already got bumping and crash. Oh, right off the bat. That is unfortunate. And a mess behind. Oh, no. Oh, it is just pandemonium back there. But at least who's getting off in front? Looks like the front drivers.
Not sure what's happened here.
Oh, do we have a delay? I'm sorry if I was talking ahead and out of thing, but you can kind of see in the back of the pack there, we had a little bit of a messy start.
Here we go. We're back on.
Are we back on? I apologize for any mistakes there.
Yeah, I hit the replay button and I didn't realize it would take us back so far. So carry on.
Quite all right. Quite all right. We got to see the crash twice. So, but it looks like we have straightened out quite a little bit as everybody's still tight together, going through lap number 1. Let's see here. Anybody in the pits right now? No. So, oh, who do we have off there? Barnes being pushed off. Oh, I think everybody is just either a little rusty after the holiday break or maybe just really hungry. Got to get those points. No matter what happens, they couldn't have done as bad as me a couple weeks ago. So, hey, it's all good. Let's keep fighting for those positions. Who do we have here? Unda? All right, he's doing pretty cool. Oh, here we have a tight group with Reg. Did we say? Oh, somebody got bumped off there. Hold them brakes. Did we decide it was Reg or Reg? I'm thinking Canadian. It's got to be a Reg thing, right? Hey,
I was thinking Reg as well.
Yeah, you know. Oh, leave a little room there. Boy, more cars off the track, bumping another crash. Oh, big contact.
Oh, that looked like it may have been Rodrix that kind of tapped somebody there. Let's
we are
bounce back a
off
little
to
bit. We'll rewatch that.
Difficult start back to racing for Division 5 after the holiday break.
So it looks
I think
like
the
on
stewards
the
are
replay
gonna,
here.
Stewards
See
are gonna be
what
busy
happened.
this week. Oh.
Yeah, they just went like almost 4 wide through there, and
then he tried to come back in and just, oh boy.
yeah.
That is truly unfortunate.
What can you do?
Uh,
Get back to it here.
I'm not sure. Looking at the leaderboard, though, it looks like Ma is up 13 positions, so he definitely came away quite well from whatever happened at the start there. Unda is up 13 positions. Baham is up 11, so several drivers that definitely benefited from whatever the fracas is. But if we go down the list, as we're watching racing continue here, Pacagini down 25 positions. Martin, who qualified well, down 14. May down 21. So quite unfortunate for those drivers. That's why it's so important to just, you know, try to keep it as clean as possible on that first lap. Wait for things to settle up, and then choose your battles, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just judging from the field, there was surely other incidents that we didn't even manage to catch due to my technical issues on that first lap. But you know, that seems to be the theme with these races is, you know, you've got to try to just be as clean and as careful on that first lap, and as long as you can survive incident free, you know, you can settle into a kind of a rhythm at that point. But that first lap battle is where all the carnage tends to happen.
It really is, and I am not one to judge. You know, I've been in it as much as anybody else, but
if you
the races were,
you've had a first lap incident. All of us.
Yep, exactly.
Nobody's innocent.
Correct. But the ones where you're really going to come out, the better races, give yourself a chance, is just be a little patient on those first couple laps. Wait for your situations to set up, and that is easier said than done. It really is. You're ready to go. You know, like I said, maybe everybody was just a little hungry.
Yeah. Well, considering it's been a good couple weeks since we got to do some proper racing, I wouldn't be surprised. So
I know what it is. We have several people who have new gear that they got for Christmas.
Oh,
and
that's right.
See, right? I'm just trying to give them some excuses, work through it. What do we got for racing here, Robert?
Sorry, looking down the pack here, we've got a bit of a tight pack kind of formed up here in the middle of the pack. We've got Hemion and Unda. Hemion trailing pretty close behind Unda and probably looking to try to move here. Looking back up here as well, we've got Lorenzo and Ma in a really tight battle. And we've also got Farrell, Mac, and Mar all pretty tightly packed, and Reg is caught up in that mix too.
I will also say that more towards the front, we have a bit of a train behind Naples in third place, with 𝐲𝐵𝐵𝐿 and Kovac all tightly behind him within a second and a half.
Stopa's really looking to try and make a move on Naples, I'm sure. Meanwhile, Van Epps just has clear air with a nearly full 2-second gap now forming between him and Townsend.
Starting to pull away a little bit. But, I mean, we're only 7 minutes down here. How much is he potentially putting the throttle down, sacrificing some tires, maybe go for an early pit strategy? Hard to say, of course, at this point, but yeah, just throwing it out there. But Townsend is trying to hold on at a second and a half. Naples at 3.3 seconds behind Townsend, being a little more conservative and trying to hold off the pack behind him, but Stopa looks like he's going to go for a move here soon.
Yeah, I tell you what, Stupa's getting real close to Naples in front. I think he's going to try to make something happen here soon.
You see, he backed off just a little bit because he took a look there going into Tremonto. Didn't quite work out, backed out, bide his time, pull him in a little bit closer, just fell off a bit right now.
And looking back down in the pack, we've got some movement here around 11th, 12th, and 13th place here. Looks like Barnes is going to have to be fending off Bayham in his AMR.
Right on him.
And looking a little further down the pack, we've got Ryan in the 961 GTR. He's got a bit of a train forming up as well. Actually, quite a few of these cars within a second of each other from 22nd to 27th place, so that's going to be interesting to watch as this unfolds. Looks like 𝐷𝐸 may have had an incident. Yes, 𝐷𝐸 is off, and he's lost a few positions there.
Oh no.
Let's see if we can catch what happened there. Oh, pretty big incident. Looks like they came to a complete stop off the track there.
Yeah, I wonder if he got bumped. I didn't catch that.
Looking back up the pack here, Stupa and Naples still fighting it out. But it looks like 𝐶𝐽𝑒 backed off a little bit.
Yep, starting to lose 𝐶𝐽𝑒 a little bit. Kovac probably still just sitting there, biding his time, waiting for a mistake, try to go through. I wonder, does I don't think race control tells us how many warnings the drivers have at this point. I'm just curious at that because this track can be pretty brutal with it. I'm certain we're going to see some drive-through 30s today.
Absolutely. The limits here are just so easy to go through, and to maximize your lap time, you really have to be right on the limit there, because otherwise you're leaving time on the table.
Yeah, the precision required and not picking up those track limit warnings, and oh boy, that's for me, that's the thing about Misano, is that it is a very fun but very frustrating track when it comes to that. And even if you think you got it and you don't,
Absolutely,
that's probably the worst.
Absolutely, and
or go.
Ooh, that was a bold move there.
Right there, Curva del Rio. You know, that exit down the short straight here. You got to be aggressive and pull it inside, but just a hair too much, and the curb really gets you, and your momentum and ability to throttle out is just gone. So that's a frustrating one for me personally, I'll say.
Yeah, and Mac in general looks to be trying to get around Pellerin here. Seems like they just can't quite find the spot to make the move, but looking ahead, we've got some movement, a couple positions ahead of them between Paccighini and Thibodeau. Looks like Thibodeau just lost a position to Paccighini, but he's going to try to take it back, going on the inside there, and not quite enough to make it. That's a tough spot to be in, to be kind of trying to hunt and take a position back while you've also got someone right behind you looking to take your position from you. So you've got to weigh your options. Do you push aggressively and try to get your position back, or do you kind of back off and focus on defending so you don't end up losing your position in the process of trying to gain a position back?
You know, being kind of right in the middle of a pack like they are, if I were Thibodeau, I would just, however, maybe I pronounced that wrong, I apologize, but I'm thinking of the hockey player. If I were Thibodeau, I would just keep my eyes forward, keep them out of the mirrors. What happens behind, I can't do much about. Just try to keep charging and make it through the pack. If you keep your eyes in the mirrors too much trying to defend, you're gonna miss your break points, your turn-in points. Just try to forget it, until you can't.
That's a good point. Something that I need to practice more myself. I have a tendency to start defending way too early. So once you let that car behind you get in your head and you feel like you have to start doing something about them, you're going to lose time, because now you're starting to subconsciously take different lines than you maybe should. You're going to be going slower. The time to defend is once they're faster than you. Otherwise, you've got to just keep focusing on nailing your braking points, nailing your apexes, and just going as fast as you can through your lap.
Absolutely. If you know they're faster, whether they've got better pace, just in general, whether your tires are starting to wear off and you've lost your pace, whatever it is, you're trying to hold on to your position. Maybe you're trying to hold a whole pack behind you. You got to drive defensively. And right, your head's going to be behind you. But if you're in the middle of the pack, there's just no sense in worrying about those cars behind you. They're right there with you. You might as well just charge. Just my opinion.
Absolutely. And it looks like, looking back down, it looks like there's been some movement. Mac is trying to make a move on Thibodeau here. I think Mac's gonna have it.
Yep, looks like.
Mac took the inside line there.
Can Thibodeau pull the inside-outside, though? Looks like he did. It's a matter of those different lines, but with Mac on the inside going into the next set of corners, yeah, he's going to be able to pull that out. Keep it tight. Yeah. You can go wide coming out of Tremonto. As a matter of fact, you should be going wide coming out of Tremonto to go down the straight into Carbone.
I don't think Thibodeau is done here, though.
No, he's sticking with him. Although having driven that McLaren...
Whoa! We just had an incident. Let's see what happened here with Pacciaghini. Oh. It cut off there. I'm going to figure out how to do this replay eventually, but I got the gist of what was happening there.
Far too inside. And it looks like he's going into the pits now. Picked up some damage. Said 15 minutes in is enough. That's still going to be pretty bold. Running 45 minutes on a set of tires at a track temp of 42 Celsius.
It's a brave strategy, to say the least. That being said, though, I mean, if the Endurance Series has taught me anything, it's that you can push these tires pretty far. With the Endurance Series, you're having to double stint those tires and really extract a lot of life out of them, and it might pay off. You might be able to help them stop the bleeding from losing so many positions from that incident. By pitting early, getting that knocked out, they may be able to pick up a few positions from other drivers around them having to pit later on.
I agree. I think you can. Enduro will teach you that you probably can make these tires go a little bit longer than you might expect. That being said, they do start to drop off. You do have to adjust your driving style, how hard you're pushing them, and manage that grip level over an extended period.
Looks like Himion is going in for the pit, and this, not really sure if they had an incident or if they're just pitting.
Looks like they've got some damage to the car.
Let's take a look here.
We'll see.
Now
see
how
much pit time he drops. And just judging by the front of the car, I'm saying the front there looks a little roughed up.
Yeah, one way or another, they picked up some damage.
Picked up some damage.
All right, looking back out there, we've got Heisner, 𝐉𝐨𝐻𝐻, and Barnes all having a pretty tight battle out here for that kind of 10th, or the 10th, 11th, and 10th through 15th place, really. Whoa!
Oh boy.
We've attacked,
Heisner
but
taking the short.
good save from Heisner, though.
Taking the shortcut. Oh no! Leave room! Leave room! Oh. Oh, I can't believe they all made it through there.
Somehow they all managed to survive. Pretty impressive on all their part to manage to avoid letting any of those little incidents turn into a really big one.
Mm-hmm. As they're coming down the straight here and going to be going through Variante del Parco, we were talking about Hemian before. He's now coming out of the pits. He had a 55-second stop time, so he picked up 25 seconds worth of damage, I'd say. That's, as a guess.
Yeah, it's one of those things where when you've got this short of a race, when you do have that one mandatory stop, you really do have to weigh your options on if you want to try to go for that that repair or not. I've gone for that 20-25 second repair before, and it can at times cost you a position or two if you're not smart with it. The flip side of it is that time you might lose from the damage might also cost you a position or two. So it really comes down to that you kind of weigh your options as you're getting ready for your pit on if it's worth it to go for that repair or not.
Yeah, and every driver is different, I think. I'm not sure what your threshold is. If I'm looking at about 14 seconds of damage, a lot of times I'm just going to try to muscle through unless the car feels really bad. We start to get up from that, 20, 25, probably like he was into. I'm probably going to be going in, just take the gamble, right? Take the time and try to make it up.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. Well, looking down the pack here, we just had Farrell take a position here from 𝐉𝐻𝐻 and Mar. Really, there's just this great battle going on kind of in that 14th, 15th, 16th position, but there's also a lot of movement going on down in the middle of the pack here. Mm-hmm. May have actually been an incident, though. Let me see here.
I think there was. I think we had somebody get bumped.
Yeah, we also have, looks like 𝐉𝐻𝐻 went into the pits.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be our second voluntary pit of the race so far that I can see. I would say Peccighini's pit was probably not something they planned on having until they had that incident.
Right. Yeah, probably not the pit strategy they're wanting to run. And even for 𝐉𝐻𝐻 at 40 minutes, that's pretty early.
Yeah, they must know something that the other drivers around them don't, or they're trying to take a very aggressive undercut. Would that be the right
Yeah,
word?
possibly. The undercut really works best if you can come out and find some clean air. And looking at the track map right now, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of that. There's one kind of spot there.
Well, this is also Misano.
Right.
Clean air is a rare thing on this track with this many cars.
Yeah, that's true.
And looks like the gaps are widening here, but 𝐉𝐵𝐵 takes the position from Unda, but they're not done. I think they're going to be fighting it out. Unda falls in behind, though. I don't think they're going to make a move right now. Let's head back up to the front here and check on Van Epps here. Again, clean air. He's got mostly clean air, I should say. It looks like he's got a back marker here. One of the back markers up ahead of him, but he's got a really good gap.
He's also got fastest lap at a 1:36.125. Just trying to run away with it up there.
Now, I would say though, Townsend is close enough in that gap to be a threat, even though it's a couple seconds. That's not you can relax and do whatever you want kind of gap. 2.5 seconds is close enough that you've got to be smart about your pit strategy and continue to drive clean, consistent laps. And Townsend is a very good driver too, so. Van Epps.
Agreed. And, yeah. And I was going to say the same thing, that just, getting your pit wrong, that's 3 seconds right there. So
yeah. And Misano has a a comically long pit. So the time loss that you spend in the pits is already so bad. Any bad move in terms of the pit is going to really throw you off. Now, bigger gap, though, is Townsend and Naples. They've got a full 6.5 second gap. Still close enough that pit strategy will come into play, but not quite as close of a situation as Townsend and Van Epps have to think about.
Yeah. And looking at it behind, though, Koval in 5th has Transu and Kovac behind him pretty tight before we have a 11-second gap back to Pinkowitz. So looks like they're fighting pretty hard right now, all trying to get in good time, good laps as we are getting close to the optimal pit window. Look at that. Let's see here. Koval going for the move inside Transu. Looks like he's got it done through the sweepers. Oh, but a little bit of late braking there from Transu. Gets the job done. And, oh,
man. Just like that.
Just like that, Koval gets a little bit of a... starts to lose the rear end and then gets a little tap, and that's all she wrote there. Misano strikes again.
Ooh, we got a heck of a train forming up behind Ma, meanwhile.
Oh, we do indeed. A little bit of back and forth there. Checking those brake points. What can we go for? Barnes and Lorenzo and Reg all just sitting back there waiting, going, go on, make a mistake. Give me a couple spots. That's my favorite. Oh, and Heisner goes on the inside, but he goes too deep and outside wide, gets back onto the track. Can he retain his spot? Does not look like it. Yes, he does. Oh, but he's not going to have a good run, and looks like Lorenzo and Barnes going. Oh, we've got.
Oh man.
No.
Man, we gotta watch that again. There, they just went 3 wide, and they just got a little too many taps in there.
Looks like Ma made a wiggle, and it made Heisner brave there, which I don't blame him. But he went in too deep on the braking, and then as we're all trying to get through Curva del Rio here, which is already tight, then he makes a wiggle, and
my replay was too short again. We'll fix that.
Yeah, that's a bummer. But I guess Ma's staying. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that really cleared the air for him. They got a nice couple seconds to Heisner behind, and they do have a few seconds to the car in front, although Koval just went into the pits.
Oh, well, 33-minute point. I think that's a pretty good call.
Yeah, we're gonna see more drivers going in. Pellerin also in the pits right now. Well, Pellerin's actually coming out.
He had a 34-second pit. That's not too bad.
Got Lorenzo also into the pits. And I still don't think we've seen any of the top 5 pit yet. So I'm curious to see what they're thinking for strategy, because we're getting close to the 30-minute mark and none of them have pit.
Well, like we were saying at the beginning of the race, going to come down to who practiced this part, who practiced the longer stints. Who knows how far their car can go. Of course, if you're up front, you want to stay out as long as you possibly can. Hard to say. Are they
Townsend's
falling
into the
off
pits
on
now.
time? Aha.
Maybe looking for the undercut.
Yep. Townsend says, I'm not playing around. We're going to get this pit done right now.
You know, Van
Kovach
Epps,
doing the same.
if he's comfortable out there and he can extend this a bit, he may even be able to wait maybe another 5-10 minutes and do an extra long stint before he pits. Really build up that gap.
Absolutely. If he's still putting down, you know, solid times, feels comfortable, you know, then why not, right? Although, you know, I'm looking at the list here while we weren't paying attention. Packagini put down the fastest lap of a 136 flat. Took it away from Van Epps there.
You know, I didn't even notice that, and you were right. That is a very, very good lap. They had that incident. They were the first one to pit too, weren't they?
One of the earlier ones, yeah.
Yeah, I think they had that incident. They went for the pit. So with that, they've got fresher tires, and they're being able to
half fuel.
Oh, looks like we've had an incident for Eisner here. Let's bounce back and see what happened. Like he was
Eisner fighting it out with Ma. Yep. I know you're on a replay, but we just... Oh, he just dove into him.
All right, we're going to come back up here to... Oh, there's another bit of contact there with... looks like Barnes and Marr had a bit of contact. And something just happened with Packagini. Pulled off the side there. Maybe a technical issue.
Really? Also, while we were away on something else, we had contact between our race leader, Van Epps, and Kovach, 185. Van Epps was trying to get around him. So that's unfortunate for Kovach. Looks like we got Barnes trying to make the move on Ma, or Farrell trying to make the move on Ma here. Looks, and he got it done. Good for Farrell. Ma fighting back though, going around through Tremonto. But Farrell was able to hold on, going through the fast sweeper. Ma was a little more brave. Comes out in front. Going through Curvello there. Made his move. Was able to get that place back as we were coming through Curva del Carro. Where do I have my drivers wrong there? Nope, Ma coming in for the pit now. Farrell probably saying thank you very much. I'll just take some of that clean space in front and behind and just try to put in some fast laps and laser focus for the next 28 minutes and counting. As we're focused on Farrell here at the moment, we can see that Van Epps finally came in for, or decided to just go ahead and get his pit out of the way, which can't blame him. Might have had something to do with a little bit of the damage that he picked up in that contact with Kovach. Let's see here. There is Van Epps' 32-second stopped pit, so he had a nice clean pit. in 8th right now, but that shouldn't hurt him too bad as the rest of the field, the top 6 at this point, still have yet to pit. And with Van Epps closing in on Townsend, that's going to be really the only person that he has to get through, get back to that top spot. Farrell coming in for his pit now, saying 27 minutes is long enough. Coming in at 4th place. Should probably come out somewhere in the just outside of the top 10, maybe in the mid-teens. While we're watching them in the pit here, I want to just kind of run off some of the lap times that our drivers are putting down. Who has the fast lap at this point? I can't even see. Did we lose a driver that had a fast lap? I can't tell, but running down the list here, Stoppa, who is currently in first place, is a 136.3. Roderick's behind with a 136.5. Thompson, 137. Thibodeau, 137.6. Townsend is a 136.1. Van Epps, 136.1. Those appear to be the fastest laps that we have through the group right now, even though they're just a little bit back in the pack. Hopping around through some of the group. Yeah. I'm sorry. Race control is not showing me who has got the fastest lap right now. Otherwise, we could be following that person. Focusing on Lindo right now. Coming. We got the two McLarens coming together here. Where is Lindo? Yep, Lindo right there behind Gilchrist. Two McLarens. Those McLarens are stronger through those sweeping corners. This should be a good track for them. But I can see that from the leaderboard. Well, I mean, McLaren is at the top right now with Stoppa. But other than that, the McLarens just aren't as popular as they once were. I know I personally ran them for about 3 seasons or so, and while I was comfortable in them and fun, at a certain point you just need to get a little variety. Lindo still low, trying to go the long way around Gilchrist. Not getting it quite done. Gilchrist going just a little bit wide there. Coming into Curvone. Lindo has had to back off quite a little bit, see if he can make a stronger push before coming into Curva del Carro.
All right,
I can see.
Looking up the field here, we've got a couple other battles maybe going on. We got a bit of a little bit of a train behind Farrell here.
Mm-hmm. And now that you're back, I can, for some reason it came back up that Pinkowitz has the fastest lap of a 135.8. See, it was just missing you, Rob.
That's a pretty impressive improvement over the previous fastest lap. We're already kind of getting down into those qualifying lap times now.
Yeah, we have, what, Van Epps had the 136.1. Who was it that took over?
It was Pachagini?
Pachagini took over the 136 flat. I don't even see him on the list now. He might have actually left the race. But now Pinkowitz pulling down the 135.8. So we are continuing to get faster as time is going on here. But that's probably right after putting on fresh tires at half race fuel. That's when we are going to see our fastest times.
Absolutely. It looks like we just had Ryan here make a move on Farrell. I don't think Farrell's just going to let him have it, though. And, yeah, seems like whatever was going on with Patrighini pulling off to the side there, some sort of technical issue or whatever the case may be. They took that fastest lap, and then they had to bow out. And, you know, if they had to bow out for whatever reason, that's one way to go.
Yeah, on top while you can.
Looking back up at the top here, I'm assuming Van Epps had to go for the pit by
yes,
now.
he did.
Which means that Townsend made the right call with that undercut. Because now Townsend's got a 1 second gap on Van Epps.
Yeah, that's right. As we discussed, that definitely did work out for him. Van Epps had a solid pit at only 32 seconds stopped, but going in, a handful of laps before that is paying off for Townsend. He's got the 1 second gap right now and hanging out there. We'll see how his tires are acting by the end of the race, of course. If Van Epps can stay in that position, wait for one little mistake, capitalize, he could have that position right back. You know, looking at the list here, Robert, I think we've lost 4 different drivers already in this race. Am I mistaken?
I think so. I
see we're down to 34 racing, and I think we started at about 38.
Yeah, let's take a quick check over and see. Well, there's 41 drivers in the series standings, so I can't recall how many we started the race with, but we've surely dropped more than just Patrighini.
Yeah, I think we lost about 4 racers, and I'd just like to mention while we were doing that, Lorenzo had taken fastest lap with a 1:35.697, and then immediately after, Townsend said, "I don't think so, I'll take that back," with a 1:35.680.
Yeah, Townsend's going to be trying to get some fast laps out and try to build that gap up with Van Epps.
Yep, track is obviously getting fast right now. Lorenzo taking the inside there. That's okay, Ryan.
We're back on Lorenzo.
Oh, yeah, it just looked like he was made a good move there. Didn't mean to hop around on you, sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. I was the one hopping around on you. Looking back up the field, though, I don't really see any close gaps right now. We can check back in on...
Yeah, Pellerin, Lorenzo, and Abubo seem to be the tightest pack at this time. The tightest 3. Most of the other drivers have spread out at this point.
Yeah, this tends to be what I see happen is once the pit window, or once the pits kind of start playing out, and people end up coming out with a bit more space.
Yeah, and that's probably another reason why we're seeing some fast laps start to hop back and forth between some of the drivers. If they're not battling, they're all spread out enough. The track, conditions coming up, rubbering in. That's what's going to happen. They're all going to start running fast.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Looks like we had a little bit of contact there. We'll go back and watch the replay of that. So you had Townsend following really close with, or Van Epps following Townsend really close, really nipping at his heels. But then unfortunately he makes contact with one of the back marker Ferraris here. Might not have rewound that enough. Yeah, there it was.
Oh,
and that's going to slow him down a little bit too.
Yeah. it looked like he was trying to avoid it, and well, the other car, the Ferrari there, was trying to get out of the way. You know?
Yeah.
I wonder if they were a blue flag, and if they were, I'd just like to point out that Curva del Rio probably is one of the most difficult places to do that on this track. You know, as a blue flagger, should have got through. Want to say this the right way, probably would have been a better choice to get through Curva del Rio, and then as you start to get on that straight, then kind of just get off the racing line, let the leaders go through. But once again, you know, hindsight's 2020.
What can you do?
But yeah, what can you do in the race, in the moment? You know, I am definitely not going to sit here and judge. But as a general practice, on the straight, that's where you want to get it done. It's safer for everybody.
Yep. And looking at the board here now, that means that Van Epps now has a little over a second gap to make up. Van Epps was closing on Townsend pretty aggressively, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're able to close that gap. We do have 16 minutes left here. Looking at the last lap, Townsend's last lap was about a second faster, so we'll see how that shakes out.
Yeah, I was looking at that too. Last lap, Van Epps was a second back from Townsend. Best lap, he's only 0.2 back, but that is showing that Townsend might have the better pace. So if he can keep it clean and keep going, he might be able to hang on to first place.
Yeah, for sure. It's just going to come down to that consistency and keeping it clean, keeping it fast. Van Epps is very quick, but so is Townsend, and that really shows in this situation.
Yes, it does.
Looking back down the pack.
Naples. Oh, yes. I was just going to say Naples in third, being 12 seconds back. He's probably hoping for a miracle to happen up front.
Yeah, at this point, if I was Naples, I'd be getting comfortable with the idea of bringing home third. Still a podium. They've got a good, comfortable 4-second lead on the car behind, and however, they've got 12 seconds to the car ahead. So,
yeah, at that point, when we were talking about attacking and defending before, if I were Naples, I would just be, 4-second, 5-second gap to the car behind. I would just be focusing on putting down clean laps, making it through the next 15 minutes. If you make a mistake, you might have to get in your mirrors and get defensive. But other than that, now's the time to put it on cruise control and just try to finish out the race.
Absolutely. And looking back down the pack here, it looks like Kovac just lost the position to the 961 Nissan of Ryan. And looking a bit further down, looks like we've got a bit of a battle going on here at the back with Lindo and Gilchrist and May.
May, I'm looking at it, is on a 42-minute stint right now. Oh, we finally have our drive-through.
Drive-through for Unda.
Not
sure what they did there, but...
Yeah, well, track limits, I'm surprised we haven't seen one earlier, to tell you the truth. 13 minutes left to go. I should have expected to see that with, only 13 minutes in, would have been my guess.
That's some good, clean driving, and, it's... I'd be curious to see if we get any more of those drive-thrus at the higher divisions, because, with these slower divisions, and even in my experience, you want to kind of drive a little bit more conservatively. You want to try to take it easy, and you don't have to push so hard all the time. At that faster division, every little bit counts, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little more penalties in the higher division, the faster divisions.
Entirely possible, pushing for a little bit more, right? As they're all pushing at that high level. I'd say the general consensus would be that the difference between the higher divisions and the lower divisions is overall speed, of course, but more than anything else, it is pace and racecraft. That's what makes the difference right there. And I'm a D4 driver. I'm not one to talk. I'm doing the best I can. I definitely I was D3 for several seasons, and from there on up, those people are fast and they are good. So
absolutely. This is my first season also, not only commentating and broadcasting, but also racing with SRA for the Team Series, and I manage Division 4, and I feel pretty outclassed going out in Division 4 for my first outing. But I didn't manage to make the previous race at Watkins Glen. I practiced for it, but wasn't able to make it, so I'll be curious to see how I can get on tomorrow when it's my turn to have a go at Misano.
Yeah, it gets pretty sweaty at D3 and up. You got to put in your time. I don't think there's too many drivers that just fall backwards into those divisions.
And here we are with 11 minutes to go. Another drive-through for Stopa. But,
for Stopa, that is painful, being that he's in 5th position right now.
5th place and with the fastest lap by a pretty nice margin too. But,
yeah, 135.
That's going to throw him off a bit. The good news is that their worst case scenario, they're actually looking to lose about 4 positions. So they're going to have to
at least
serve this drive-through and get back out there and just try to be consistent, so they can at least hold a top 10 finish with that this late in the race.
As you were mentioning, the pit lane at Misano is painfully long. It isn't spa long, but even with that stop and go 30, a full pit is still going to be a minute for good.
Gosh, it might be even longer than that. I have a really nice cheat sheet here normally.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. The top 4 drivers all put in 32-second pit times stopped, and that cost them 1:15 to 1:14 each. So Stoppa is basically looking at, almost an entire full lap of being stuck in the pit.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be painful. And they're serving that penalty now. We're going to see where they come out. Van Epps, meanwhile, battling with Townsend there. He's back in striking distance. This is going to be, I think, the battle, the intense battle here for first place. I want to say that Van Epps has pace against Townsend. And it's just going to come down to how good Townsend can hold them off.
Always nice when we have a good fight at the front instead of, having to ignore the person who's running away up there. Yeah, he's got it to within 0.4 of a second right now, 0.6 of a second, where he was hovering at about 1 second. So I think he sees that we're in the last 10 minutes and realizes, hey, if I'm gonna make my move, I gotta start to push. Oh, when he dives in just a little bit strong there, he's able to correct.
Good correction, but Townsend is just making that Porsche as wide as they can, and that's gonna set Van Epps back a bit. He's gonna have to try and build that or close that gap again.
Yeah, exactly. He's still just a bit far away to be thinking about making a move. He's got to maintain that patience. Well, he's getting closer to just keep focusing on break points, turn in, being fast, doing what he's got to do. Maybe waiting for a mistake as that might happen. But 0.5 of a second away when you're at the top there, it's just a little bit set out of striking distance.
Just kind of working my way down the board, looking for some more battles here. While keeping an eye on Van Epps, they've closed the gap now down to 0.5 second. So we're going to be watching that very closely. But looks like, I think we're getting to that point where the drivers are kind of settling into about, where they're gonna finish. We're gonna see a few more battles in this last 7 minutes, but once you get this close to the finish, most of the drivers, they're just trying to get a good clean race, get to the finish line, and you're gonna have those few that are in that striking distance that are gonna be trying to make those last-ditch moves to try to make something happen. Looks like we had an incident towards the back there out of 𝐷𝐿𝐶.
𝐷𝐿𝐶. And it looks like the tightest group we have right now is starting with number 961, Ryan, with Banks, Barnes, and Marr closely behind. Everybody else is still fairly well spread out. Other than, of course, at the front now, where Van Epps is up to 0.3 of a second behind Townsend.
Van Epps is right up there again on Townsend. I think we're going to keep an eye on this a little bit.
Got to get a good exit out of Tremonto there. Looks like he did okay. How brave is he going to take Curvone?
My Endurance Series teammate and coach, he's echoed the sentiments of many other expert drivers that the most important corners are by far the ones that exit into long straights. Getting that perfect exit out of there, that's where you're going to have some of the most crucial, time gain or loss.
Well, it's definitely where you pay the price for a mistake the most. That's, I think, for me, that's the why they're so important. You have your fast in, slow out corners when you're going into another corner, but anything that's going to be going into a straight, you're talking about slow in, fast out. Generally speaking, of course, and that really needs to be the focus there, because you can just watch even two cars that are evenly matched. One is going to pull away from the other, who gets that better exit. Now, if you're me, then you're watching a Mustang just pull away from you no matter what. It was worse when I was in a McLaren, but now in the Porsche, at least it's a little bit better.
Yeah, the Porsche can really scurry away out of those exits for sure. But that Mustang is very quick in general as well.
Yes, it is.
4 minutes left, and Van Epps is just right there. It's that first position is right in their grasp. This battle's just excellent through to the end. What we're really seeing is Townsend is just patient. They're making that Porsche wide, and they're just being consistent, and watching Van Epps, they're pushing hard. You're seeing the rear end slip a little bit here and there. Van Epps really has to push. Just a little bit too much wheel slip.
Van Epps starts, he puts on a little too much throttle there, loses the rear end. And
just like I was talking about, they're pushing hard and.
Yep. Well, you saw that Townsend had a wiggle and you called it out, and I was thinking maybe Van Epps could capitalize on that, but with a wiggle of his own, and now falling back to 2 seconds behind with less than 4 minutes to go, you got to figure that he's probably just going to have to settle for second place.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Getting a podium,
no,
every podium counts for something. But that. I'm sure Van Epps, they've got to be kicking themselves for that. Just right there, it's in your grasp, and just to watch it sail away with a 2 second gap never feels good. Looking down the rest, we've got kind of a train forming up behind Banks here. We got some cars here that are probably really anxious to try to get into that top 10. Really, the train is forming up behind Farrell in 9th place here. This, I think, might be the battle to watch now, although looking back up the board, just keeping an eye on Van Epps, they're closing that gap to below 2 seconds now, so they've got maybe 2 to 3 laps left to get it done. We'll see.
It's making me think of Groundhog Day. Don't drive angry.
Yeah, at this point, I think, though, with this much time left, Van Epps is probably just hoping to see maybe Townsend makes a mistake. Because, you know, that 1.5 seconds with a couple of laps left to make it up, that's a tall order. But we'll see. That said, though,
I know.
They do have almost a second of pace against Townsend, so we'll see.
Yeah, I think, you know, in those situations, I'm usually telling myself, okay, you made a mistake. Just don't make any more. Just make it to the end where you're at. You know? Bird in the hand.
Usually what I do is I say, hey, you made a mistake, and then I proceed to make like 5 more. But we won't dwell on that too much.
Right. That's the trick right there. It's like, okay, you made a mistake. Don't dwell on it. Just don't make any more. Focus. And not always easy, but that's, you know, I guess the difference between well, the different places. You know, being towards the top and being towards the back. And trust me, I have been there, where one mistake goes into another. I can think about my last race of the last season at Kyalami, where that's exactly what I did. Threw it all away. It happens.
Yep.
So yeah,
racing.
That is racing. So yeah, we got quite the train coming in behind Farrell here. Yeah, Rob, why don't you take us away for basically what is our final lap?
Yeah, so looking here at we'll check in here at the top here with Townsend going into their final lap. Yeah, this should be. Yep, Townsend's on the final lap here with a 1.5 second gap. It's looking like Townsend's going to bring it home with first. So we're going to go back to this train here and kind of follow that through. We'll come back to Townsend a little bit here. I'm not so familiar with the corner names here. This is Tremonto, right? They just came out of?
That is Curva Tremonto.
Okay, Curva Tremonto. All right.
And the fast right-hander here is Curvone.
It shows how much I was paying attention during your track explanation. Oh, jeez. Looking here, gonna catch back up on Townsend here as they are also coming out of Tremonto. Van Epps is making just a last-ditch desperate push. Loses the rear a little bit, but they're within a second. So this is gonna be Van Epps' last chance to try and to go for that first position here, down to half a second gap.
That really is a strong rally back from 2 seconds.
Yeah, within just a couple of laps, and he's right up on them as they're coming on to the final sector of the track here. And
through Curva Misano.
Coming in the last corner here, and despite the valiant effort by Van Epps to try to reel Townsend in, Townsend takes first position with Van Epps coming in second. Coming in behind and coming into the last corner here is going to be Naples, bringing home third for the podium. Naples really got to just have a nice clean race and kind of relax. I don't think they had a whole lot going on around them. And
nothing that comes to mind too much. That's the kind of race you want to have.
Absolutely.
Right?
You can't really complain about that. Just a good clean podium. And we've got Rodericks coming across the line in 5th. And Pinkowicz is going to bring home 6th position.
Yeah. Stopa in 7th was it? Yeah, or Stopa, I'm sorry. Able to put down the fast lap too. 1:35.397. Boy, that's quite a fast lap.
That is pretty darn impressive. I'd be curious where that compares with their qualifying.
Yeah.
Farrell and Kovac. Oh, wow. We've got a bunch of people coming across the line here. Farrell bringing in 9th. Kovac bringing in 10th position. And that's our top 10.
Well, we certainly had an exciting race, especially to be able to start there. As mentioned, I think our stewards are going to have their hands full this week, as we're all trying to kick off the rust coming off of our holiday break. Yeah, but we had some serious movement in positions for some of these drivers, and as you'd mentioned, staying clean is the key.
Yep. All right. Well, that is going to wrap up round 3, Division 5, Misano. Give us a moment here, and we are going to try and get some of these drivers up here in the booth and see how their race went from their perspective.
There we go.
All right, so we've got Austin Townsend in the booth with us here to talk about their race. Austin, congratulations on that P1. What a great race you had, and really, capitalizing on securing that position from Van Epps, who had a really solid start. I think you just had the undercut, but tell me about your race.
Yeah, thank you. That was one for, wow, that was great. Honestly, me and Van Epps were literally matching pace for pace, I think, the whole entire race. Tough to keep him away. I didn't really have a choice. I think the undercut was my only choice. My tires were gone, so I just jumped in kind of around half just before, and he stayed out, and managed to cut him, and that was, yeah, then it was just keeping him behind me, and that was a challenge because those tires do not hold worth anything. The track is way too hot. But
yeah, absolutely.
We were discussing exactly that. You know, how the track temperatures were going to be affecting the tires. What the management strategy was for that. When we saw you go in early, it's like, hey, this could definitely pay off. Towards the end, we saw you make a little bit of a wiggle and kind of thought, oh, Van Epps has got a window. And he got on the throttle just a little bit too much, made a wiggle himself, gave you a couple second gap, and enough to be able to just focus forward instead of behind and get it done.
Yeah, I think I seen that. I think I seen him drop, and I was like, okay. Like, there's 4 or 5 minutes left. I was like, I just gotta get through 3 or 4 laps. Like, just get through. And then, put the head down, keep in track, and don't. I was on the verge of track limits too, which kind of I had 3 cuts, so I was the next one I would have been screwed. So yeah, that was the last 10 minutes was just something else, that's for sure.
Yeah,
we were curious about that as well. Stopa pulled up a drive-through where he was in 4th, I think it was, Robert, right?
I believe it was 4th or 5th, one of the two.
Mm-hmm. So, that's the kind of thing where Misano will jump up and bite you. And beyond that, to just try to focus for those last 4 minutes, knowing that you can't make any more cuts, that's tough. That takes focus.
Yeah, that was. I clearly, it was one of those. But yeah, no, it was weird because going in, like, practicing over Christmas and everything those guys are quick. Like, those guys are in the 34s, and I was like, okay, this is. Didn't really have a lot of high hopes, but quali today definitely put me in the spirits, and then yeah, just followed that into a solid race. So that was amazing. My second win, I'll take that. Very happy.
Very impressive indeed. And you know, can't really say much else other than congratulations, great race, and looking forward to seeing how you do going into the next round.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys for commentating and all the stuff you do. That's very appreciated.
It's awesome fun, so always happy to do it.
Yeah, we're happy to be here. Congratulations on your win today.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, so let's see if we can get our second place up here. I'm gonna go and bring them in.
Avoided 𝐲𝐸𝐳,
Yeah.
hit 𝐕𝐺𝐻, bounced on the track.
Yeah, I think I hit McWheeler.
All right, we've got Ryan Van Epps in the booth with us now. Ryan, congrats on that second. Although I'm really curious to hear you talk about your race, because that was quite an intense second half of the race for you and Townsend. So why don't you talk me through kind of how your race went?
Yeah, first pole position I've ever gotten, so that was a new thing to try to navigate. Got a really good jump off the start, and started to run away, and me and Townsend kind of were on pace the whole time, the entire first stint. Couldn't get away from him within we couldn't break the gap, so I figured it was going to be like that the whole race, just being exactly on pace with each other. And I saw him dip into the pits, and I was trying to decide if I should stay out 2-3 more laps or go in the next lap. Made a decision to go in the next lap, and then I think I made a mistake by changing my mind last second and staying out for a second lap. I got the fastest lap of the race that lap after he went into the pits, so I figured I could have a little bit left in my tires to kind of maybe have some tire for the end of the race on him. And when I dipped into the pits, came back out, I mean, right on his rear bumper, and I was like, dang, he got the undercut on me. And then that second stint was just, I think I pushed a little too hard in the beginning and started to lose my tires too quick because I was trying to make a pass on him, so I was pushing a little bit too hard and burning through my tires too quick. And man, that was just it was fun, but that was intense, just trying to keep up with him. Had a couple almost moves on him, and then I could tell he was losing his tires. He was sliding all over the place, I'm sliding all over the place. It pretty much came down to who could keep it in control the most without sliding or going off track. But man, that was an intense little battle there.
We were definitely wondering that how the temperatures were going to affect the strategy today, and we were talking to Townsend about that as well. Choosing when you were going to pit today, and maybe how much practice you would put in on those longer stints, probably was gonna mean the difference. I imagine that you had practiced those scenarios and knew how your tires were going to fall off as the race wore on.
100%. When you got high temps like this, pit strategy comes pretty big into play. And luckily I got to do the practice race on Monday, and I ran the entire first half hour. I didn't pit till the very end of the race just so I could see what the tire degradation looked like, and it is aggressive, especially on the GTR. It's a very loose car on this track. The rear end likes to dance around on you, so those rear tires like to burn up real quick. Coming into turn 13, towards the end of each stint, I had to start braking way earlier than I wanted to, because I started to lose the rear end coming into that fast right-hander. So yeah, I was when he went into the pits, I was about to follow him in the next lap, but it seemed like I still had life left in my tires, and I was still putting down fast laps. I was within a tenth of my actual pace, so I figured I'd stay out a little bit longer, hoping that by the end of the race I could have, like, you know, the last 5 to 10 minutes with fresher tires than him. But with these high temps, I mean, it just, when we're both pushing that hard to try to keep up with each other, both of our tires just burned up so quick with these high temps, and we were just fighting for our lives there at the end.
Yeah, I was definitely seeing that, and you know, just watching you kind of close that gap, and then they would be losing their rear end, and you'd be losing your rear end, and it was just it was just a game of survival at that point towards the end.
Basically, yeah. The only time I could gain any ground on it, we were so almost perfectly on pace with each other that the only time either one of us could gain ground or lose ground was when the other person would slide, gain a little bit of ground, then the next person would slide and you lose that ground, and it was just that's probably the most intense race I've had, solely for the fact of we were bumper to bumper most of the race, and fighting the track itself of just don't make a mistake, don't slide out, don't spin out. I had a couple real close calls of getting a little sideways, more sideways than I wanted to be.
Yeah, we saw that there was a couple slides and potentially some some issues trying to get around slower traffic, which I'm sure caused some issues as well.
Yeah, the blue flags were a little tough today. It's a hard track for the blue flags because you get all these high-speed straightaways. It's such a fast-paced track that you feel like you're losing a lot of time when you're lifting for these guys behind you. So I understand. And I did come in contact with one of the blue flags through turn 4 or 5 or 3-4, as he let Townsend go in a weird spot. And I thought he was going off track because he looked like he messed the corner up, giving the spot to Townsend in a weird spot to give it to him. So I went for it, thinking he was going off track, and all of a sudden he kind of came back onto track, and luckily didn't mess my race up, but I think I spun him, and it was unfortunate.
Yeah, we were watching that moment and kind of said the same thing, where we could see that he was, letting him go, but at Curva del Rio, that's a difficult spot to do that. And you looked like you tried to anticipate the best you could, and then it just didn't quite work out. Glad it didn't ruin your race, and certainly hopeful that it didn't ruin his either.
Yeah, it was, it didn't, I caught a little bit of damage from it, the front end damage, but nothing that it didn't make my car drive any different, didn't affect any aero. Was still able to get back up to Townsend there and continue on with our fight. Fun race.
Which was great. You guys certainly were going at it for pretty much all the race.
Yeah,
fun to watch.
Appreciate you guys commentating that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a blast to watch, especially right there at the end, watching y'all's battle. Had a really good time and enjoyed it from our end. And thanks for hopping up here. Congratulations again on your second place finish. And looking forward to seeing how you do next time at the Nürburgring.
Thank you guys very much. Appreciate what you do.
Thanks for being here with us.
All right, and with that, I think that's going to wrap us up for today's Division 5 Round 3 Season 13 race. Let's sorry about the technical issue. Wanted to thank everybody for tuning in. Thanks for dropping in and watching in the race, and look forward to round 4 at the Nürburgring. It's going to be interesting. Once again, a track that's currently on the schedule for the Endurance Team Series, or the Endurance Championship rather. So people are going to be well practiced for that. Matt, anything you want to say going into the next round?
Yeah, I was just thinking about it. Isn't Nürburgring our wet race?
Oh, you know what?
For this season?
You are right. It is our wet race, indeed.
Nürburgring could be interesting as it is, but wet, it is definitely going to be one not to be missed.
Absolutely.
So hopefully we can have you all back to watch us again next week for what is sure to be an exciting race.
Absolutely. Thanks again, everybody, and have a good night.